And that's how it all begins, folks. Right here on the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. And happy Friday, everybody. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it. We all made it together. So it's just an us party right now. Hopefully you got a great weekend planned ahead. I don't know if you're busy tomorrow night, but you might want to stop in. I'm just saying, you might have heard we got Mr. Dave Scott of Spaced Out Radio joining us here on the show tomorrow night, which should be an epic adventure. I was over on Dave's show a few weeks ago, had a wonderful time. I'd never had the opportunity to meet Dave prior to that. I mean, it was really just they scheduled me and I got on there, and Dave and I just really hit it off really well. He's a really good guy. I really had a lot of fun talking to him, and I just thought, my God, if you guys aren't aware of who Dave is, well, it's time to come out from under the rock you're living under, because Dave's going to be here and we'll introduce you. You'll get a chance to meet him and to hear a little bit about his experiences, his thoughts, and kind of reverse the roles. I was on the hot seat. Now Dave's going to be on the hot seat. So that's how we're cooking it. But that'll be tomorrow night right here on the Paranormal Portal. 2 fun-filled hours of Mr. Dave Scott. What's not to love? But tonight I'll be joined eventually by Sheldon when he makes it here. But I thought, since tomorrow night we're having an interview, rather than hold the question of the week for another week, we'll just do it tonight. Because it's a normal show, as normal as it gets here on the Paranormal Portal. So we'll do that tomorrow night. Oh, hey, Nate, thank you. Nathan Nate coming in rolling 20. God bless you. I like the notes you play, Nate. He says, time to start this Friday on a good note. It's a hell of a note, Dave. Or Nate, sorry. I got Dave Scott on my mind. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow night. So yeah, it should be a good time. I hope everything's working good. I'll be doing lots of resetting and troubleshooting and making sure to weed the portal garden to make sure we aren't surprised by any technicalities or glitches. So hopefully it'll be a great show. I hope you guys will tune in. Definitely spread the word. If you are a fan of Spaced Out Radio, well, we're going to get a chance to dive right into Dave's experiences. So Dave's not here, man. Cheech and Chong, I like what you did there. So yeah, very cool, Mickey. But we'll have Sheldon again a little bit. We're going to get to the question of the week in a little bit, and we're going to get to the news momentarily. But hello to everybody who's here, and hello to the new names that I saw. I got to scroll back up before they disappear from existence, because chat doesn't last long around here. It just scrolls into obscurity. It only caches so many minutes of chat, or so many messages. But Miss McGillicuddy is here, so it's good to meet you. Thanks for coming in. That's a new name, and it's always a pleasure to meet new listeners. So hopefully you love it, and you decide, hey, this is where I belong, and you hit the subscribe and the notification bell and make it happen. I do need to talk with many of you about the whole notification bell thing, because apparently only 14% of you currently have it enabled. Now, I will say it's not beyond the scope of possibility that YouTube kind of resets those things every once in a while. So just check your settings, make sure that you are indeed subscribed and that you are indeed receiving notifications. It really helps. Of course, then you get notified anytime I go live for whatever reason, and it gives you an opportunity to take part. So many times I never got the notification. And even when people have it, selected and the notifications, all notifications enabled, that's still no guarantee, but you got a better shot is all I can say. So check your settings and, make sure that you didn't get boosted. Oh, what happened here? Oh my God. Here we go. T-Bone's hitting the ground rolling. Thank you, T-Bone. T-Bone gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, T-Bone. You are amazing. Taco Violator got one of them. God bless you, Taco. You're official again. Kelly Starlight got another one. That's a new name. Good to see you, Kelly. Thanks for being here. And because you were here, you want a free month of membership to the Paranormal Portal. Kelly Starlight, that's a great name. I like that. Patty Troy also got one. Congratulations to all of you guys. Welcome, Patty. I hope you enjoy the show. Hectic Moments? Hectic Moments. That's a great name. Hectic Moments. I like that. Received a membership as well as David Rosty. So fantastic, guys. Welcome. Congratulations on winning a membership, and special thanks to T-Boone for making it possible. You'll have a free 30-day membership to the channel. If you like it, you might want to continue. No pressure, of course, but it's certainly wonderful that you're here now, and we get a chance to meet you guys. I do like the gifting membership thing because oftentimes it a lot of people tune in, but they don't chat. And again, I can only acknowledge the people that are chatting because that's the participants list that I get, and those are the names I see on the screen. So it's neat when some of these giftings happen because it'll randomly distribute it to anybody that's watching. Allegedly, even people that aren't watching. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. But it gives us a chance to see maybe some of the people that are not chatting, but they're here checking out the show. So in any case, fantastic to have you here. Barbara Mora's over on Rumble. She's holding up the fort over there. Thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. And Edith Gomez, hello to you. Hello, everyone. The names are moving fast. Yeah, the chat moves quick, and that has a lot to do with the incredible community that's adopted my show. I can't take any credit for the chat room. You guys are amazing. You found your way here, and I am honored. Bogart's here. Big Bird is here. John Temperin is here. Nathan Nate, of course. Southern Belle Bigfoot is here. Good to see you. Let's see. Is there new names? Annie Manuel. Canada loves you, Brent. Oh, I love Canada too. You guys are great up there. Let's see. Looking for Owl 13's here. T-Bone, as we said. Kitty Cattywack's here. I'm kind of going, Hello Friend is here. I like that name. Loves this. Love the show. I love your name too. And thanks for being here, taking part in the show. Hello Friend. John Stevenson is here. Chucky Danger, of course. The architect himself of the question of the week is here. Good to see you, Chucky. Hope you're doing wonderful, brother. Rachel gets it right. One of our fearless mods, as is Chucky, and Annie as well. Annie's got a phone call, so she'll be right back. Let's see. Vince, did I say Vince? Good to see you, Vincent. Smoky Mountain Wanderer. How you doing? That's a new name. Smoky Mountain Wanderer. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Got a cousin of mine. It's like more like my brother than my cousin, but he lives over in the Smokies in Tennessee. And I go over there every once in a while, so I love the Smokies. They're a beautiful area. As I'm just looking for names here, if I haven't said your name, it's, hey, Justin Goodearth, another attack on Rumble. Really? Oh, no. Okay. Well, there's another attack on Rumble. I didn't know there's ever been attacks on Rumble, Justin, but I hope everything's okay over there. I see Barbara's over there, so I hope it's still working. Let's see. Is this working? Let's see if Barbara says it's working. Yeah, it looks like my chat went through over there, so hopefully it'll get sorted out, Justin, but make yourself at home wherever you want to watch, brother. Happy you're here. John Temperin, John Stevenson, the Johns are here. And I don't know if I'm sure I've missed a ton of names. Let's see. Spaced Out Radio. Brent is the B. Arthur of Paranormal Radio. He's golden. The B. Arthur. Oh man, does that mean I'm a golden girl? Did you just age me, Dave? Who is going to be here tomorrow? So I'll have to come up with a great nickname for him. He called me Beautiful Brent when I was on his show, which is kind of sweet. I don't know. I had a crush on Dave after that. I'm telling you. Yeah. So everybody, that's about all the hellos I'm going to be able to get to here. We got a lot to get to here. If I can enunciate, it would be much better, of course. But I guess we can get to the news, and at some point Sheldon will be along and joining us, so we'll see how that goes. But I think I got my Zoom thing finally figured out. Because the people listening on Zoom would never hear the stingers, the transitions, and I think I got it sorted out, but I got to wait for Sheldon to get here to know for sure. So when that happens, we'll find out. But until then, I'm about to news you guys up. So get ready to get newsed. You're going to get informed. Now, not all of the Paranormal Portal news is paranormal. Some of it is, but some of it's just weird, bizarre, interesting, exciting. I don't know. It's the whole spectrum of things. So don't think you're just getting paranormal news, but sometimes there's paranormal news on the paranormal news. So there we go. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. It's time. Dave needs to have a camp out in his backyard. I'd go up for that. I just found out I'm not that far from Dave. Relatively speaking, it's still several hours driving, but I could actually make that camp out. Perhaps. But, you know, if I'm invited, I can invite myself to Dave's camp out, but I could. I'm just theoretically stating that. All right. So this is the news, ladies and gentlemen. The snapping plastic bottle, of course, shows you that I'm getting ready to get serious here. We are going to do the news now. This is the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'll be your news anchor, Brent Thomas. Again, throughout the course of the show, I utilize several different sites, and I just want to ask you guys, please support these sites. These sites are incredibly well done. They do a marvelous job, and I just want you to support them because they are just full of excellent information, so much more than I could ever cover on 1,000 shows a week. You know, it's just, there's so much out there, but these sites are doing it right. So please support what they're doing. The first site we're going to be visiting is one that's called unexplained-mysteries.com. And this has been the staple for the news for a while now because it's just phenomenal. It is just phenomenal. So where the hell is it? There it is. I'll figure out my life pretty soon. Wait a second. Did I not do that? I'm going to have to figure this out really quickly right now. All right, here we go. Let me just pop open. I'm going to pop open some news stories pretty quick. I was so messed up with figuring out Zoom that I kind of forgot one segment of my show to prepare for. So this is how it rolls. This is absolutely live and unscripted. Just so you know, I don't ever claim to be professional. I'm an idiot with a microphone, but I have a blast doing it. And so we're going to do that. Why would they do that? Oh, yeah, I want to do this one. There we go. We got a few news stories now. I'm all ready for you. Took me no time at all. All right, here we go. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. This is the first story for tonight. And I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know. We've often heard murmurings from astronauts that they've seen things in space, perhaps UFOs, perhaps truly seeing UFOs. And of course, the testimonial of astronauts, I think, is pretty valuable because these guys are trained observers. They are trained to know what's in the sky and what's going on around them. In fact, they have to know, because not knowing could mean life and death, especially in space where you got no help unless Elon Musk can lob another craft up there for you. But otherwise, you're screwed. So let's see what this article says. We'll see what you guys think. Here we go. The first article of the night from unexplained-mysteries.com. Exceptional site. Again, please visit these guys and give them your love. Ex-NASA official claims to have seen a flying saucer with, I didn't see this headline clear, with U.S. Air Force logo on it. Or maybe this is a better one. There you go. That one's a little more creepy. Like, what? So we've often heard about the reverse engineered space program, right? That they've recovered the alien craft and perhaps have reverse engineered it and created a breakaway space program. That's kind of the big click, right? Like people say, advanced craft that we make. We got it. I think it was it John Rich from Skunkworks who said we now have the technology to bring ET back home. I might be misattributing that quote, but that's a pretty bold quote to make. So it sounds like somebody knows something. Nate says, first off, they wouldn't put any identification on a highly classified craft that isn't supposed to exist. Well, maybe they figured if they flew it into space, nobody would see it. Maybe they thought that would be safe. But I'm just saying, I'm just being devil's advocate here. I'm not either way. I mean, could be true, could not. All right, here we go. A retired flight surgeon maintains that he saw a secretive saucer-shaped vehicle belonging to the U.S. Air Force. Dr. Gregory Rogers, a former NASA chief flight surgeon and Air Force major, has spoken out about something he had witnessed back in 1992 at Cape Canaveral, Florida. Oh, this wasn't even in space. This was in our backyard in Florida. At the time, he'd been conducting an inspection when he was approached by an Air Force major who invited him to come and see something that he claimed would knock his socks off. Rogers was then taken to a room where he was shown a CCTV feed of something extraordinary, a saucer-shaped vehicle with the U.S. Air Force logo clearly emblazoned on it. I would estimate it was about 20 feet wide, probably 8 to 10 feet tall, and it had a shallow dome on top of it, he recalled. There were no antenna. There were no flight control surfaces. Everything was very smooth and blended. I saw no rivets, no seams, nothing. Everything was white, but there was a vertical black rectangle at the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock position on the upper half of the vehicle. Without warning, the object began to move. All of a sudden, it just lifted up as smooth as could be, said Rogers. Once it got maybe 3 feet above the concrete surface, it rotated completely around clockwise 1 revolution. Then it revolved counterclockwise 1 revolution. Amazed by what he'd witnessed, he turned to the Air Force major for an explanation. He said, "We got it from them." Ooh, got it from them. Who's them? It's like you ask anybody about common wisdoms and stuff. Well, they say. Well, now that we got it from them. Maybe it's always been aliens. Maybe always been aliens influence our lives. All right. Rogers never saw the craft again and to this day remains adamant that what he saw was genuine. Could be. Hell, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me even a little. What about you guys? Do you think, let's do a chat poll. Do you think there's a breakaway space program where we actually do have very, very advanced reverse engineered technologies from perhaps extraterrestrials? Put a 1 in chat if you think, yes, we have that stuff. We've got it. It's been being done forever, or a 0 if you think that's a bunch of bunk. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. 1, yeah, we got advanced craft. We've engineered it. Oh, look at all the ones coming. Sharon Sunshine, Rachel gets it right. Bogart, Tracy Benna, Sharon Sunshine again, lots of ones. Hello Friend says more than likely 1. Nathan Nate 1. I don't see any 0s. Yeah, I think not reversed, but given, John Temperance says. Fair enough. That's still a 1. Justin Goodearth definitely says 1 over in Rumble, as does Barbara Mora. Pixie Ranger, Kitty Caddywhack, Owl, all 1s. Taco says no, 0. Fair enough. Oh, he's just being cheeky. Never mind. MJ12, sure, Yeshua, you're right. The MJ12, certainly. Majestic 12, yeah, that's true. Carjuice says 1 over in Rumble too. Annie Manul says 0. We'd use it strategically. And maybe we do, though. I mean, that's the thing. All we know about strategic operations is what they give us on the news briefings. So they could say they sent B-2s over there, but maybe it was, I don't even know what another acronym for a UFO could be. But maybe it was a UFO that we made. But fair enough. You're certainly not wrong. I didn't hear the question, Mickey G. I just asked, yes, 1. Put a 1 in chat if you think we have reverse engineered advanced technology from extraterrestrials in the form of UFOs of our very own, or 0, you don't think so. So it's 1 or 0 based on, yeah, we have that stuff, or 0, no, we don't. Mike Prine says Bob Lazar. I don't know. Yeah, good point. Bob Lazar story. Unidentified fat obstacle. Yeah, it's in my mirror every day. Hello Friend says 1. Cat Doherty says 1. Fair enough. But yeah, good points. Big Bird says 1. Fair enough. Yeah, thank you guys for letting me know where you stand on this. I pretty much think we must have it too. Big Bird says, I've seen it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. I think we probably do too. TR3B, Justin Gooder says over in Rumble. Yep. Ooh, whatever, Brent, you're amazing. Yeah. You haven't seen me naked, though. Edith Gomez says fallen angels. Yeah, fair enough. What if what we understand as extraterrestrials are fallen angels? Certainly there's that argument, right? That's maybe the whole angelic, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole angelic allegory just has to do with good extraterrestrials and bad extraterrestrials. Certainly there's people that believe that that's the case. And maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. There's so much out there. Who knows? I have Paranormal Portal. I have you have? Okay. Very much. Just kidding. Oh, yeah. With the naked thing. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on in your imagination, but you're welcome. I'm just an idiot with a microphone. Don't ever take me too seriously. All right, here we go. So that's your thoughts. I appreciate your thoughts because, hell, I mean, you could be right. We could have it. Could be very much out there. Could be a lot of things. Send me an email. I'll save up and come to a live show. I don't really have in-studio guests, Daco, but thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let's see. Edith Gomez. I heard the last Illuminati card alien invasion. What does that mean? Illuminati card alien invasion. I'm not familiar with that. That's interesting. Not familiar with that. Sorry. Sounds fascinating though. I'd love to know more about it. I just don't pretend to know more about it. Maybe ETs aren't extraterrestrial. That's a space age interpretation. Good call, Annie. Yeah. Could be from Hollow Earth. Could be some other hidden civilization that exists here. We just aren't seeing and experiencing. Yeah. I'm laying down tonight. Barbara's not feeling well. Well, feel better, Barbara. We love you and get your rest. We'll be here waiting for you. Just feel better. Okay, well, that's the first article. Thank you guys for weighing in. I appreciate your thoughts a lot. Your thoughts are wonderful. That was the first article from unexplained-mysteries.com. But wait, there's more. There's always more. And here comes the more right now. I thought this was pretty amazing. I didn't know that the percentage was so low. I think we've all heard, look, we've only explored 15% of the seas, the oceans on our planet, which is not much considering we're mostly water. So there's a lot going on in our world that we haven't learned about yet. Dave Dickerson. Oh, I'm glad Dave, I'm getting, why is it sending me notifications? But thank you, Dave Dickerson. He liked my post, I guess. That was very nice. But what this article says is we even know less than I thought. So let's get to this. The second article tonight from unexplained-mysteries.com. We've only glimpsed 0.001% of the bottom of the sea, study claims. That's not much. And that doesn't surprise me. I know the technology to even get down there is I think there's only a few examples or a couple examples of things that can go all the way down there. But for the most part, we can't get there. We can send unmanned things down there, I think, but even that's touch and go. But let's see what this says. New research has revealed just how little we actually know about what lurks in the depths of the world's oceans. See, could be megalodons out there. We don't know. It's often been stated that the bottom of the sea is a vast unexplored frontier about which we know very little, and now a new study has laid bare the true scale of the problem. According to researchers from the nonprofit Ocean Discovery League, the Scripps Institution of Oceanography and Boston University, humans have explored less than 0.001% of the ocean floor. That's almost nothing. This is equivalent to 3,823 square kilometers, roughly about the size of Rhode Island. There's a lot left. That means there's a lot left. Suffice it to say, there's a long way to go to map the entirety of the Earth's oceans. We have visual records of a minuscule percentage of the deep sea floor, an ecosystem encompassing 66% of the surface of the planet Earth, the team wrote. The reality is we have no idea what might be living in the depths of the ocean. There could be any number of enormous undiscovered creatures and entire ecosystems that we can only dream about. At a time when a lot of focus has been placed on finding life on other worlds, it's incredible just how little we actually know about what might be living on our own. According to the research team, it could take 100,000 years to map the entire ocean floor. These estimates illustrate that we need a fundamental change in how we explore and study the global deep ocean, they wrote. In other words, money. I got Pink Floyd in my head. They want funding. And fair enough. I mean, does it stand to improve the situation here for us? Maybe we could learn about things that we don't currently know. Maybe there'd be medical breakthroughs that would become available because of what we might discover on the ocean surface or the ocean floor. And I think that's it's certainly worth doing. If we can lob remote control cars to Mars, we could probably send some things down there to autonomously rove around on the bottom of the ocean and just see what it finds. I think that's a fantastic idea. And I don't know, that's my vote, but what do you guys think? You think it would be good to maybe explore that? There could be megalodons. There could be any number of megafauna down there in the bottoms, the deeps that we just don't know about. Could be possibly some of those giant squids that used to decorate the seagoing folklore of ages ago. I mean, there's still reports of people seeing really obviously strange things, even on the ground that we do know a lot about, the surface, so I don't know. There's a lot going on. Hello, Kelly Sandiford. Thank you. Man, I'm here to tell you, we are really getting some Canadian love here tonight, folks. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really, really nice. Very cool. Thank you. So that's the second article. I think that's fantastic as well. But as I've said before, there's more. There's one more anyway, and we're going to get to that now. This one is, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. It's probably not going to be kind of a non-event no matter what, because just the odds of it having a real big impact on any segment of our global society is pretty minuscule, but it could. And here's what we're talking about. According to unexplained-mysteries.com, Soviet satellite to crash down to Earth, and nobody knows exactly where. Well, I wonder if there's got to be Vegas odds on that, doesn't there? Doesn't have to be a Vegas betting pool on that. Where's the Soviet satellite going to crash? I don't know. Here we go. A 53-year-old Soviet satellite is expected to fall back down to Earth sometime in the next few days. Ooh. Something large will be falling from the sky between May 8th and May 12th, but nobody is exactly sure when it will happen or where it'll come down. The defunct Soviet satellite, Cosmos 482, had originally been designed to fly to Venus. Ultimately, however, it failed to escape low Earth orbit and has been stuck there ever since. Hopefully there's not like a nuke on there. Hey, let's put a bomb on Venus. Oops. Now, 53 years later, it's expected to come crashing down to terra firma. But there's some concern over the fact that nobody's quite sure exactly where it will land. It's also unclear whether it will break apart or crash to Earth in one large piece. As there is a lander that was designed to survive passage through the Venus atmosphere, it is possible it'll survive re-entry through to the Earth's atmosphere intact and impact intact, wrote Netherlands-based satellite tracker Marco Langbroek. As things stand, he projected the landing area for the probe stretches both above and below the equator and includes parts of Europe, the UK, and most of the United States. Okay, the whole world. Why don't you just say the whole Earth at that point? It's not like he's narrowed it down. It could be north or south of the equator, and it could include your USA, Europe, China, Russia, everywhere. Yeah. So that said, the odds of the satellite crashing into a populated area are still extremely remote. Yeah, which is good. But just say you don't know. Don't throw out, hey, it could be either north or south of the equator, and it could be anywhere from all of these huge continents. Yeah, that doesn't really narrow it down. You're kind of done at that point. So I don't know. There it is. There's some thoughts, some information. I hope you guys feel like you learned something. You gained something from our drive into the news. Did you learn something, Sheldon?
I did. That satellite's been in orbit since like the Russian US
the 50 years ago.
Space. Oh yeah. My Lord.
Yeah, it was like during the Cold War.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it would be. About I think we had landed on the moon in '69, but there was still a space race with Russia. I think we had pretty much won it by that time, but maybe they were going to be the first to Venus, and that was their thing. So
that would have been in the 80s.
But they didn't even escape the low orbit, which is not good. Not good. However, Russia was the first country to actually successfully launch a satellite. We were definitely playing catch up for most of the space race. That's for sure.
True.
How you doing? First of all, good.
I'm doing better, but allergies are destroying me.
Are they? I'm sorry. John Temperance said it got stuck in the vapors of Uranus. He's talking about the satellite, not your allergies. Wait, wrong one. Thank you. I'm here all night.
It's a good double joke, brother.
Although your allergies are probably no fun either.
It's caused by my Uranus vapors.
Having raised you, that can be a problem. I'm just going to say. just going to come right out and put that out there.
Bombs away,
Bombs away. You used to do that to me all the time. You did drive-bys all the time, man. That was horrible. You were a bastard. I'm just saying. If any of you are new to the show, this is my eldest son, Sheldon. He is co-hosting with me on Friday nights and any other night that he can make it. So this is my eldest son.
Yes, indeed. There's some good memories of those drive-bys.
Yeah, you're
it's
such
funny.
a jerk.
I was a jerk, but like what I would do is I would come out of my room, I'd be holding one in, go next.
You don't
to him,
have to go into details. It's kind of self-explanatory. Obviously, you were holding it and waited till you just plowed by me.
I'm not embarrassed by it. It's history.
I was horrified. I'm still scarred emotionally.
Sometimes they were rancid.
Not sometimes. It was the worst experience of your young adult life. For me.
I'd be in my room here.
Oh, yeah, you were horrible about it. And you just, I'll hear from your room as you were busting out. Yeah, thank you. You got a little window into our world, folks, but yeah, this is the joy of youth. All right. You're supposed to outgrow that stuff at like 4, aren't you? Isn't that the way it's supposed to work?
For me, it was 16.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's, may still be in there somewhere kicking. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the news, folks. Let's get back to the rest of the show before this goes further into a drain. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so now I got to ask you, could you hear that music?
I could.
Good, it worked. Time. Yes. I was waiting for you to get here because I'd been working on that. My research guy kind of fell apart on me, so.
Oh.
Oh, you see what I did there?
Oh, no.
Just trying to drag your head back into the image. Because it's like you sit differently or your camera's at a different angle every time you come on. But no, don't change it again. Jesus. It's got it all framed and then you're moving it again. All right. So in lieu of the fact that tomorrow night we got Dave Scott joining us from Spaced Out Radio, which will be great. It should be a good time. Really good show. Hope you guys will be here at, again, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. By the way, I hope you guys caught Lon Strickler's Phantoms and Monsters Radio before the portal. And it's a great Friday night run because if you start out with Lon on his Phantoms and Monsters Radio YouTube channel, you can watch his live stream and then boom, come right over to the portal at 7. So it's a great run of incredibly fantastic programming. Hopefully you feel the portal's fantastic programming. But as we got done talking about Sheldon's drive-bys, but yeah, we don't necessarily go highbrow here, but we have a good time. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a great series of shows. So, would love to have you guys check out Lon and support what he's doing. He's doing a hell of a job over there, and you can hear from him some of the craziness that he's reported on through the years. Tonight he did a show about mermaids, which was awesome. I was listening to that as I was prepping for this show. So yeah, check out Lon Strickler's channel and support him as well. But that happens at 6 p.m. Pacific, which would be 9 p.m. Eastern on his YouTube channel, again, Phantoms and Monsters Radio. So check that out, support what he's doing, hang out with him on the live streams, and then come over and head over here. What are we going to do? We're going to do the question of the week since we got company tomorrow. We're going to do question of the week tonight. I did. I hope you all had a chance to, Taco says he's a mermaid. You're a merman, Taco. Because, just saying. But we're going to get to that right now. Sheldon, did you want to read the questions of the week tonight?
Sure, why not? It's been a while since I have.
All right, so the link for the Discord is in the chat. Rachel put it in there. I'll put it over in Rumble just in case somebody over there don't know about it. By God, they're gonna. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, sure. Right.
But the Rumble is absolutely free, folks. You can join it. We got a hell of a fantastic Rumble server. Discord server. Sorry, I said Rumble. Discord server. And Discord is a free program. It won't cost you anything. But you're welcome to join. Just follow that link that's posted in the chats, and you'll be brought to our server. And that'll be the magic right there.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. All right, let me pull it up so it'll be on screen, and you're going to read it, right?
That's right. I got it. I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go, folks. Well, let me do this. Put us both on the screen. And there we go. Here's the Discord server on your screen, folks. This is what it looks like. These are the chat topics. What we're focused on is the questions of the week. That's where Chucky Danger, our wonderful friend Chucky Danger, comes up with a question every week to ask you guys, the community, what you think about certain paranormal topics. And there's no wrong answers, so don't be shy about throwing in your 2 cents because there are no experts. Nobody knows what the hell's going on with any of this stuff. So your opinion is absolutely just as valid as anybody's, the professor or, a researcher, whatever, an author, personalities, like celebrities. Your opinion is just as valid. So don't be shy about weighing in. So go ahead, Sheldon.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Well, first off, thank you, Chucky, for honestly carrying question of the week on your back week after week. It's amazing.
Hey, could you raise your volume just a little, please?
It's maxed out.
It really is, huh?
Yeah, it's literally, I can't move it more.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead then. Continue. It's not like I can't hear you. There.
I'll put it right outside my mouth. Okay.
There you go. That helps.
But thank you very much, Chucky, for carrying this question of the week on your back. So, question of the week. There are lots of stories about Sasquatch doing paranormal things and encounters, and many more that don't get recorded or mentioned. With the recent release of the telepathy tapes and the documentation of psychic spy programs, some of the woo-woo, Researchers are getting some vindication on the possibility of some of these false abilities being possible in Sasquatch. What are some of the paranormal aspects of Sasquatch that you find believable and quite possibly explainable with further study? Do you believe that any of what people report that is considered woo-woo?
Good
Petty
question.
Troy says, sorry, yeah, it is a good question. Petty Troy says, mimicry. That's what makes me think now that Sasquatch may be paranormal. I experienced a haunting a couple of years ago that changed my whole perception of what Sasquatch and other cryptids could be. The haunting we had involved a lot of mimic behavior, including a solid apparition of a woman that looked like one of my friends. I no longer scoff at the possibility of the woo.
Wow. Okay.
Wow, indeed.
That sounds like a fascinating thing. Patty, if you're out there listening to the sound of my voice, if you have some stories and you'd like to share, any of you guys listening to me, if you have paranormal stories and you'd like to share, please come be a guest on the podcast. I'd love to interview you and talk about what you've experienced. And you can do that by heading over to paranormalportal.net and clicking the interview me button. And it'll bring up my calendar and you can pick a date and time that works for you. But please, don't be shy. If you've had an experience, I'd love to talk to you.
Exactly. Dad's a good interviewer. Don't be intimidated by his manliness.
Well, yes, of course. I'm quite manly.
All right. But next up, Eric the Wandering Purple Hobbit. No, but they may add to our knowledge. Question, is this a distraction? If so, what is it a distraction from? But maybe it's just a version of TiVo. I wonder what programs they had recorded. Disregard above. Yep, I believe in 100%.
Wow, what a boomerang comment. Jesus. Okay, fair enough.
All right. The mind changed in an instant. All right.
Yep.
Next up, Annie Manuel. Manuel. I'm so sorry, Annie. I'm of two minds on this. There's the effect of Bigfoot use of infrasound upon the observer versus what might be going on with the Bigfoot itself. Bigfoot have been recording as using infrasound. Those results on tape don't lie. Infrasound can have a plethora of effects upon the human perception. This includes a racing heart, distorted vision, hallucinations, reasoning problems, fear, dread, and awe. Therefore, how much of people's woo experiences with Bigfoot is really due to the effect of infrasound? I think you have to rule that out first. On the other hand, if Bigfoot is a hominid, then it may have a spiritual or esoteric aspect to its existence just as we do. I do think that they have just as much bodily existence as humans do, because they're seen hunting, eating, and there's juveniles. That doesn't preclude a paranormal existence similar to that of humans, but we need to take their use of infrasound upon our brains into account when evaluating our experiences with them. That's a very good response.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I kind of like that. That it really could go either way.
Right.
Yeah, kind of like us, our human experiences too, with even the paranormal and ghosts. Yeah, I like that. John T. Well, personally, I've seen Bigfoot cloak 4 different times, and I've seen my camera unfocused more times than to mention. So I say they have definite energy transference. I do believe they use telepathy, and I know what you are all about as for two times they cloaked deer appeared shaped, shifting, maybe, or coincidence. You decide. I don't believe in coincidences.
Interesting. Yeah. If that's a first-hand experience, we certainly know you, John, and I find that fascinating, very fascinating.
Yeah. Karen Alberting, as far as paranormal and the woo, I think woo stuff, I don't believe in that at all. I believe flesh and blood completely. The one thing I do believe possible is the ability to go back and forth into the fourth dimension that we don't have the ability to see but know exists. At least I believe it does. Paranormal Bigfoot, nope. I just can't go there. I think that is possibly more alien type life forms, for lack of a better way to put it. Not exactly what I mean, but I feel anything paranormal Bigfoot is not Bigfoot at all, and probably, I would think, evil. Not explaining myself well, but I know what I mean. I just think it's a matter of dimensions and the lack of ability for humans to see more than three. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
It
That's fair
is,
as well.
and don't feel like you're not explaining yourself well. You're doing just fine, Karen.
Oh, yeah.
You're very shy about that, but I mean, every time you've had an opinion, it's very valid. So don't make excuses. It's very very great things to consider. Certainly, there is the argument that maybe what people experience as Bigfoot whoa isn't actually a Bigfoot, but it looks like a Bigfoot, like a mimic. There's certainly the doppelganger effect, where possibly spirit entities are mimicking people that we know. Could be a family member, could be a stranger completely, but then noticing that they disappear and fade out or whatever. So it could be that. Well, I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up at the very end with an idea that I have, and I've shared it a few times before, but we'll go into it again.
Okay. First off, hi, Nina. Love you too. As our comments.
Aw, hi, Mom.
Yeah. Next up, Neil S. I'm open minded. I think anything is possible and don't judge personal experiences. I wasn't there. Who am I to say it didn't happen? Often in reports of sightings, witnesses describe how unnaturally Sasquatch move.
True. Yeah.
Often reported that they move quickly yet fluently. I think maybe this could account for how some Sasquatch seem to disappear, but I still don't discount the witnesses that have seen them full fade out and disappear. I also think some of the sightings may be the spirit of a Sasquatch being witnessed. Telepathy or mind speak is also something I do believe is a phenomena associated with these creatures.
Sure.
I think humans also have the capacity to use this ability on varying degrees.
Good thoughts, Neil. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. Maybe we do have those same abilities too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. ZX81V2. I guarantee that all the areas a Sasquatch lives all have underground tunnels and cave systems.
True.
If you're being chased in your hometown by people who don't know your roads, you can lose them usually very easily without them seeing where you went. Same applies with Sass. He knows the forest and areas road maps better than you. Telepathy, gut instinct. You trust it, you keep out of trouble. I'm sure the Sasquatch all use this like a form of telepathy, along with a lot of other animals and cryptids. Telepathy you don't need to understand. You just know that something has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps that's all it takes to stay away from anything that could cause you harm. Those times when you can sense something's wrong, even though you're not sure why or how you know. Telepathy, gut, who knows?
Good thoughts. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going into their territory. I mean, really,
Sure.
in the forest. And it's true. Maybe sometimes they disappear, but maybe they really didn't. It's just they know all the ins and outs. They know all the secret passages, that kind of thing.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah. Rachel says, I think Bigfoot is capable of mind speak. Could be something that evolved with communication over long distances for hunting or family communication. There's been some very woo events that have been witnessed. I'll keep an open mind about those, such as Bigfoot appearing out of orbs, cloaking, things like that. Yeah. Yep.
Good points. Yeah. Good. Really good points. So what I was going to say is, I've often wondered about this, and this is my own personal take. And you can take it or leave it. It's just another theory, like everything else. I can't know this, but I've often wondered because, again, we see this consistency between phenomena, where a haunting can be very much like an abduction, alien abduction experience, or at least alien contact experience. And that can often have similarities to some cryptid experiences, like where the cryptids are melting and fading away. Well, with spirits, people have seen fully manifested spirits that look just as real as you and I. They are fully manifest and distinguishable from a living person. And then suddenly that undistinguishable from living person being melts away and fades away to nothing. Now, here's what I wonder. I wonder if rather than all of these things having this innate ability, if what might be happening is that these are instances perhaps where people, our awareness has shifted and opened up and allowing us to see more of what's going on than we ever can. Like maybe the blinders come off. Like, you know, we cover stories of children having full on conversations and experiencing these spirits there as if they were another person. In fact, to these children, many times they can't tell they aren't a person. It's just a weird person, or they look funny or something like that. But they're there and they're having these full on conversations, and then something changes, and then, when if an adult goes into that room while that's happening, they see a child talking to a wall. Like the person, no matter how hard they try, can't see it. But is that ability of that child still in us? And these are instances where our awareness is what expanded. And then we are experiencing a more full version of reality than what we experience normally. And then we're in this altered state, maybe the theta state, which is like a self-hypnotized state where our brain goes into theta waves and opens up and turns into big receivers. Maybe it's the shock of seeing that, then it melts away. Whether it's an apparition, whether it's a Bigfoot type creature, or an alien, or any other number of things that might be occupying more dimensions than what we're usually aware of. So I think that we can't erase ourselves from that possibility. Like, we oftentimes empower these other things, but maybe we're the ones that are experiencing our potential. And then the shock of that, of seeing something we just aren't used to seeing, closes it back off, and we go back to normal vision. Kind of like I was talking about, you know, when we had that discussion about seeing spirits, and I was like, yeah, if it's something you could flex into, well, maybe this is a version of us flexing into that awareness and then losing it. So I've always said I kind of like this explanation, and this is my own theory. So I didn't like get this somewhere. This is my own thoughts. Not to say that someone else couldn't have thought the same thing. So if you've heard it before, fantastic. I had a blip on the ghost meter. Okay, thank you. But I think we often don't empower ourselves, but we empower the stuff around us. And maybe we are the part that we should be empowering with our thoughts. Like, I experienced that because something opened up in me and I was able to experience that. Maybe it wasn't this other thing having some kind of mastery or control and could melt or come into my existence, but maybe my awareness grew enough to recognize that it was there. Just a thought. So yeah. I don't know. What do you think of that?
I just love all these explanations so much.
Sure.
You know, the different thoughts and the different angles this is coming at. Sometimes in between kind of paranormal and, you know, kind of fully physical and all that. I love it so much. And that's the thing. I love every single perspective on this.
Yeah.
So
oh, sure.
No one needs to feel self-conscious at all. I really love every single perspective because it's a different way of thinking about it. So there's no wrong answers in this. But I mean, as far as my opinion goes on this, I don't know. I really don't.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean,
I wish I could say I think this, but that's the thing with all these perspectives. I could see any one of these being the answer.
Right.
I really could.
Right.
They're all equally valid, even in my mind. Not just like, oh yeah, it's all possible. I mean, like literally, as far as my mind goes, it could be any one of these. And I kind of love that though.
Sure.
It's the unknown.
It's the unknown. That's what the magic of this stuff is, and I mean that literally. Like, this is maybe what we're experiencing is the magic that the ancients knew. You know, that this is these are awarenesses that they had and could tune into, and we've become so modernized and overstimulated that we're kind of numb. You know, whereas our ancient forebears was maybe much more aware of this stuff. You know, because they lived more in tune. But you never know. Just some thoughts. I need to come in, or I need to come. Do you mean in more? You do need to come in more, if that's what you're saying, Steph. You do.
Yeah.
You are always welcome. All of you guys are always welcome. Humans have become domesticated. Exactly, Jed. Yeah, we've become our own cattle. You know, it's like, sure, there's deer roaming the wilds and moose and all kinds of things roaming the wild. But if you release cattle, they could probably do okay, but they're not going to thrive like these other wild animals are. I think they would be really in tough shape, especially when it came to natural predators and stuff, But I just don't think we know our own potential. And we don't recognize that some of this stuff might be our own potential coming right and slapping us in the face, instead of us surrendering that to these other, things. Oh, they have power over us. They can do all this crazy stuff that I can't do. Well, maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that actually was empowered in that moment when you saw it. And then you slam the door because of fear or shock or any number of emotions. Not intentionally, but it's just, brought you out of that state. So just a thought, but I think everybody's ideas are amazing. And thank you all so much, all of you who took the time to respond. Again, our Discord server is wide open to any of you guys to take part, to join, to be a part of. These questions come every week thanks to Mr. Chucky Danger himself. He is the dungeon master of the question of the week. He's our DM.
He is, yeah.
So special thanks, Chucky, for doing it again. We really appreciate you, brother. And this has been the question of the week.
Yes.
And so, as such, I should do this because I didn't do it on the way in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I got a new thing that I want to unveil tonight. This is a segment that I was kind of talking about, and I don't have a real good stinger for it like all these other ones. And I just put something together today to use for it. But this is going to be another segment that we're going to be doing on these live shows. And this is a good discussion point. Not that, well, we'll get into it. I don't want to unveil much of it ahead of time here, but let me do this. I'm going to pull it up, get everything set and ready, and then I'll unveil the segment here. And it's going to take me a little bit, not really like for time, but this is probably going to be really clumsy. And my apologies for that. God damn it, stop it. I hate that shit where it wants to keep resizing my windows and snapping them to the frame and stuff, and that bugs the hell out of me. Sorry. Oh. I get a little emotional because it keeps doing it. I'm like wrestling with it. Damn it, get back here. So
is it the same segment you did recently?
Yeah, probably. The one that you might have heard the other night when you weren't on the show, but you were watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here it is, folks. Here's the new segment. Let's get to this. And the segment is kind of called, What the Hell's That? Now, this is a new segment I'm introducing for the shows because I think there's a lot of stuff out there. Most of it's garbage, absolute garbage. But I think the one thing that frustrates me more than anything is how much confirmation bias even these really cheesy things get. And some of it is just that the technology is evolving so fast that a lot of people aren't aware of what it's capable of. And this tonight is a good example of that, rather than, this was brought to my attention, and I think it's fascinating because there's a lot of points I want to discuss in here. Here's a video, and I'm probably going to get spanked on this a little bit, but I don't know. It is what it is, but let's do it. Hold on a second.
Something was uncovered last week in Antarctica, and no one can explain it. 3 friends, just ordinary kayakers, set out to paddle a newly formed river, revealed after an unusual heat wave melted centuries of ancient ice. They wanted to be the first down this untouched waterway, but what they found has scientists and governments scrambling. As they rounded a sharp bend, 2 massive statues emerged from the melting cliffs. Not boulders, not ice formations, actual statues, weathered, humanoid, and impossibly large. Their kayaks looked like toys next to the feet alone. One of them, Chris Smith, had military drone experience. He launched it immediately. The footage he captured is now being reviewed by archaeologists around the world. The carvings, the posture, the eerie resemblance to ancient Mediterranean art, except these have...
Okay. So I'm going to mute it from now on. First of all, I want to point out to you guys, this is not Joe Rogan. This is an AI voice of Joe Rogan. This isn't Joe Rogan talking. This is somebody built a script and used an AI voice cloner that sounds like Joe Rogan. So that's the big first part. Joe Rogan never did this story, ever. And it's kind of a giveaway when they use a clip of Joe Rogan. It's an actual clip from his show, but he's got the microphone in front of his face, and it's just a quick clip, and then it goes off to this stuff. This is an AI build. This is a complete AI fabrication. So, first take, it's not Joe Rogan. It's an AI voice build. The AI probably wrote the script for it as well, just with an idea. This and everything about this is an AI build, and we're going to discuss this. And I'll just keep letting it play. You've heard enough of the dialogue to go, wow, that sounds just like Joe Rogan. It does. It's almost indistinguishable from the real Joe Rogan, but it's not Joe Rogan. It's an AI clone of Joe Rogan. Everything else on here is AI as well. This is all fabrications. One of the things I want to show you is at the front of, first of all, they say the guy's name, and then strategically, it's right on his jacket. Remy Demi, Antarctic. And they're in Antarctica. And it wasn't Remy Demi, was not the full name. It was longer than that in the script. But it only put Remy Demi on the back of his shirt, which I thought was kind of funny. These statues are not real. They are fabricated. But the big takeaway I wanted to point out, well, you guys got to watch for this stuff because there's tons of this around. As far as screenshots and stuff, here we go. This is the part I want to bring to you. Watch those paddles.
Yeah.
Nobody paddles like that. I wish I could go frame by frame here, but I just can't. It won't do it. But watch, those paddles never kind of hit the water and they bend weird. And nobody paddles a kayak going this. They pull and they pull. It's like a rowing motion with a stick. As a kayaker, I have kayaked. That's not how you do it. So there's a lot of this stuff out there, and they're selling these stories like there's something amazing, spectacular going on. And this is one of those AI things. So that's what the hell is that? Is a bunch of crap. The guy's name is Jack Smith. Really? Took him a long time to come up with that, I'm sure. And maybe there's a Jack Smith. I don't know. That's a drone operator, but whatever the case, this is the kind of stuff you guys got to watch out for. And I'm not making fun of anybody. A lot of people are watching these things going, wow, are you kidding me? That's amazing. And it does sound amazing. But what I don't like is that it's getting harder and harder to distinguish between obvious fakes. Second of all, nobody flies a drone this close to somebody's head. Nobody. You're going to get an unintentional haircut or potential lobotomy from those blades if you're flying a drone that close to your skull. So if he is a drone operator, he needs to be fired. That's bad practice. But the rest of it is just moving images, fabrications. That obviously is not a real person. That's an AI render of somebody looking at a picture of the icy field with the drone in it. So is there stuff out there to be discovered like this? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there is. But unfortunately, this isn't it. But there's a ton of these things that people are out there, and they're hook, line, and sinker, like, oh, and no fault of their own. It's just that this is what I want this segment to do, is talk about this stuff. Because there was probably a time in my past where I'd have been like, oh my God, for sure, that's real. And I had to really narrow down my critical thinking and do a lot of research. I do have a background in technology, so that helps a little bit. But, and I do like CGI on the side as a hobby. And so I recognize some of what is done, not so much with the AI anymore, but I used to be able to recognize CGI pretty well. Now it's tougher because the AI is doing everything from the ground up. But I don't know. Yes. What the hell is this? It's not real. Garbage. It is garbage. And unfortunately, there's too many people doing this stuff, and they're getting web traffic. Why did they do it? Because these things go viral. There's enough people out there that are just dying to see something like this, and they get shared out, and they get clicks, and they get views, and then they get revenue. The video that I did of the hanging upside down vampire thing, That one where I found it, and that was a reissue of that same video. But that video had 2.5 or 2.2 million views. And that's revenue for these people. So it's very lucrative to put this crap out there, and that's unfortunate because it doesn't help us. Yeah, they don't look weathered either. Elaine says, yeah, I mean, if these were thousands of year old and existing in the ice fields up in Antarctica or down in Antarctica, they would be a mess. I don't think there would be a standing statue that might have had, miles of ice on it at one time. It would be crunched into powder, much like when a glacier goes through. So I don't know that we'll ever see this kind of thing just melt out of the ice ever. It's not likely anyway. Is it possible? Maybe, but not likely. But this is a great moment to cover this because it's epidemic online right now with this kind of video, and there's thousands and thousands of them, and people are churning them out every day. And just beware. And if you see it online, and this is something I said a show or two ago, but always start with skepticism. Always start with skepticism, because the odds of somebody actually catching a legitimate paranormal event are extremely small, that they're going to catch it on camera and it's going to be of such quality that they could show it. Just my take. Not ever, because the ice caps are growing historically. Facts. Yeah, I heard that. They're gaining ice. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Jackie Hall is here. Wonderful.
Welcome in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
hello, Linda, as well.
I mean, this is only getting, remember what AI used to look like when it first kind of came out? Those first videos came out, it was so obvious.
Like 8 fingers and toes were the big thing at first. Like AI just could not do hands and feet. It would just, these fingers would turn into these weird transforming snake-like things throughout the videos. It was like, oh, that's not real.
I think, wasn't it around like, I don't know, I think it was maybe 2019, 2020 is when it started popping off AI stuff. And then now you get to here, where it's still not amazing, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, imagine 5 more years. It'll be almost indistinguishable. You won't be able to tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. It's going to get to that point. I mean, it's very possible that they will be creating feature films with AI, without even paying $20 million actor salaries before long.
Guaranteed at some point, yes.
Oh, it is, because they won't have to worry about stuntmen or setting up anything. They can just render an experience, and it'll probably be amazing. All things considered. I mean, maybe it's not going to have the same heart as like a really good performance by an exceptional actor, or actress, but the point is that even that can be duplicated eventually. So
yeah.
But can you imagine what video games are going to look like? Are you kidding me?
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's fine. Bring it on. But
sounds like plug me in the Matrix. Plug me in. I'm Neo. Yeah.
Free.
Absolutely. Fine. Let's just go. So anyway, I just wanted this to be a moment to go over these things with you. But all of this it's kind of clever. It's kind of clever, but you got to look for those little clues, like the way those paddles were hitting the water at the beginning. That, to me, was the first big red flag. It's like, who the hell paddles a kayak like that? And then kayak paddles they're sticks, they're rods, they're just rigid. And you can see the paddles like as if they were like hinged in the middle. Like one would go up as well. And it's like, wait, they can't do that. They're not supposed to wiggle in the middle. That would be losing all your energy to a flexing kayak paddle.
I mean, they were just patting the water. They weren't pushing or,
Right. They were like dipping paddles in the water back and forth.
They were just dipping it, moving forward.
And it was somehow magically propelling them. It was amazing. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Owl 13. And that's another thing is, we've unextincted the dire wolf. No, you didn't. You just took a gray wolf and triggered some genetic traits that are similar to a dire wolf. Yeah, it's a con game. It's a con game. So anyway, I just wanted to point this out to you. I just thought it was a great moment, and thank you. As you see this stuff, guys, you feel free to send it to me. I'll be happy to feature it on the show if you find videos and want it to be talked about. But yeah, I mean, that's not Joe Rogan. In fact, I almost hope they could try to copyright strike that because it's like, that's not Joe Rogan. That's a facsimile of Joe Rogan. And I don't know if they can do that. Maybe they can. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll get a copyright strike out of this video. But
He was actually joking.
Rogan is actually really skeptical. I watch of his shows. He gets wrongfully targeted by the mainstream media. Oh, sure he does. Yeah, absolutely, Justin. What were you laughing at, Sheldon?
Huh?
What were you laughing at?
I already forgot.
Seriously?
Yes.
Holy mosquito. All right.
It's already gone.
It's gone. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the new segment, and it'll evolve. This is one of the first examples of this, but it's called "What the hell is that?" Okay, that's the only transition I have for this right now. So, anyway, that's what the hell that is. It's a placeholder for now. It's an idea. So if you like this kind of segment, please, let me know. I would like it to have some feedback on this kind of stuff when I do new things on the show. And the people that talked about it last time when I said, hey, would you guys like to see segments like this on the new shows? Most of you guys were like, yeah. So, fair enough. Josh Casto came in, blowing up memberships. Thank you, sir. I think D just got the second free one too.
Whoa, D.
D Ocean's just got a second free membership here. Awesome. Hello Friend got a membership. Thank you, Josh. First of all, that's awesome. D Ocean's got a membership. Lisa Foster got one. She got a free membership gift. And Hooking Good Creations by Tina got a membership now. And Mary wins. So congratulations, all 5 of you, and special thanks to Josh. Appreciate it, brother. That is amazing. So,
yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, I don't know, just things to think about. But anyway, it's a new segment idea. Carju says, "I love the segment." What the hell? What the hell is that? That's what I'm calling it. That's a working title. I
like it.
I did too, because it's just kind of gets right to the meat. What the hell is that? The other videos that are driving me nuts are the ones that they show like these whales pulling up next to boats, and there's like car wash machines scrubbing barnacles off of them. It's like, that's not real. That's not real. Barnacles, you can't just sweep off with the broom. There's another one where they're sweeping them off with the broom. Barnacles are like, they're on there. They got to be like pried off with a spatula or something. Those things are anchored to those poor animals. And it'll eventually kill those animals too if they don't get off of there. But I mean, there's videos of them like laying happily next to a boat when there's this car wash thing coming down with scrubbers going up and down the body of the whale. It's like, yeah, that's not real. There's no freaking hell.
That's all it's gonna do.
Yeah, they're gonna have nice shiny barnacles by the time they're done, and a really pissed off whale probably. So. There's no way a whale's going to lay there while you buff it out. Oh my God.
Have you seen those AI videos of I don't know if it was like one of them was like a cruise ship, another one was like a big barge looking thing, and they're like there's this hole at the bottom just pouring out sludge into the ocean.
Oh yeah, God, those are horrible.
It's just dumb.
It's a whole trend of those things. It's like whatever. I don't know. And the other thing that's been driving me nuts too is like they'll take one piece of rescue footage from like an actual animal rescue, and they'll piece it together with other animal videos and try to make one storyline out of it. Like, they freed the moose and it became their baby and came to visit their house. And it's like, 14 different locations that are being showcased in this, but they try to stitch it along like it's one storyline. It's like, that's not the same story.
I actually believed, there's one of them I saw that I actually believed until I saw a comment like, these are 3 different videos.
I know.
Like, oh, wow, okay.
Well, that was the big steal for me is I actually watched one of the stories all the way through. And then I saw a compilation story that they were trying to sell as another version of that story. It's like, no, that never happened. That's, and along with the interviews of the original people. And then they did that compilation video. I'm like, oh, this is so creepy. But it's a scammy paradise for scammy people on the internet. Yeah. So, I love the new segment. It can shed some light on something that could persuade someone it's real, or on things that hurt the credibility of real experiences. Yeah, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yes, very cool. So, yeah, Jackie said she saw that one of those whale buffing videos. The one that cracked me up was the one where they had like push brooms and they're cleaning off an orca of the barnacles just by brushing it. Like, well, if it swam through the water, they'd fall off if it was that easy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were literally just falling off
like
nothing.
Yeah, and then there's ones where they're rinsing them with hoses and the barnacles are coming off. It's like, this is fiction. This is fiction. So
it's just so dumb. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb. Seeing is believing. Even what people are seeing isn't real. Sometimes, but there's some of it I can understand. Like, everybody loves a beautiful story. Like, oh, it's nice to see people helping animals, because God, animals are kind of on their own, And I love the stories of like, oh, the elk that comes and gets help to go help its brother or something that's hung up in a fence. Things like that. Maybe they're true, maybe they're fiction, but I like those stories because it's nice to think that people will extend themselves to help, the helpless. So anyway.
I just don't understand. Why don't people use AI to make like a really cool Star Wars AI video or like something really cool like that? I don't know why you got to start messing with reality. Like, oh my God, look what's happening in the ocean, guys. Oh my Lord. It's like, no,
honestly, probably the clicks and the engagement would probably be bigger on a Star Wars video, to be honest with you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. And it's probably in the works, to be honest with you. There's probably a bunch out there. I know with Star Wars, it's one of the, and Lucas was always really cool about it. He loved when people made fan films using his ideas. I mean, he loved when people made Star Wars fan films, and it really kept the franchise alive. From the 80s through the 2000s or 90s, at least, when they started the prequel. Mm-hmm. But it really kept the franchise alive. So, hi, Mike Prine. Mike Prine says AI porn. Yeah, I think I don't think he's being inappropriate. I think he's talking about this being like these videos are like an AI porn. I don't think there is a whole nother issue with AI porn. I will say that there's been plenty of people who've been very hurt and wounded by AI renditions of them doing things that that are sad. I mean, it's just tragic. So there is that too. I mean, it's like any new technology that gets released. It's brand new. It's like a new shiny toy that nobody's really quite sure how to utilize appropriately. So you get all these idiots flying off and creating God knows what. And, unfortunately, it usually causes more problem than good. But, yeah, that's a whole nother issue. But anyway, gorilla would make mincemeat of men, surely. Well, you'd think so, Maggie, except that gorillas are, they can act aggressively and stuff, but gorilla poachers, they're just usually a bunch of guys, tribal people in a lot of cases, that are just using machetes and attacking gorillas. And one-on-one, no weapons, yeah, gorilla would use a person like a human pair of nunchucks and, whip them around. But
well, you would be, as far as the challenge of it, humans aren't supposed to use weapons, otherwise it's like, oh, everybody gets M9s. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like it's supposed to be barehanded is the
if it was barehanded, there'd be no question. A gorilla could break your arm just without any effort. Just like with a strong grab, it could rip your arm out of the socket. So no question. And just then scale that up to Bigfoot. I mean, come on. Gorillas are, 5 foot-ish. And then you're looking at something that's 8 to 10 feet. Scale that up. And then when you see trees that are like this big that are twisted around like pretzels, It's like, well, yeah, I can kind of see that. It seems like an impossible feat of strength, but, it's a whole different category of strength.
Actually, I don't know the answer. I don't either remember or know the answer to this, but who's typically taller as far as the depictions? Bigfoot or Dogman?
Oh, usually Bigfoot.
Okay.
Usually.
Right.
But there are claims of 10-foot plus dogmen out there too. But there's some claims of like 15-foot Bigfoot, although, I don't know what to make of those. I mean, they're so rare. There's also the possibility that the witnesses are just, everything's bigger when you're terrified, right? So remembering it is going to come with that variable to some degree. It's just human nature.
Right.
But I think the dogmen generally, at least the ones that are reported and encountered, are usually around 7 feet tall. Is pretty average from my experience of reading dogman reports. But Bigfoot's average seems like 8 or 9 feet in a lot of cases. There are some sightings of smaller ones, and it might just be that there's a biodiversity, and like there's tall people and there's short people. There's little people, and then there's NBA players, for God's sakes, which would seem like two very different humanoids, but they're still the same family tree. And so maybe the same is true for a Bigfoot too, that they would have a similar biodiversity. But oftentimes when we hear of little ones, we think, oh, juvenile. And it might be, but it might just be a diminutive version. There's dwarfism on every type of animal that experiences dwarfism and gigantism. So it's both.
Sasquatch dwarfism's just a human.
We are the dwarfs.
We are the dwarfs.
We're the dwarf squatches. Yeah. We prefer little squatch.
That's right.
All right. So, let's see. What time do we got? God, it's about time to get to the cryptids, actually.
Time is flying.
Time is flying, folks, but don't worry. There's more. There's always more. We're going to do this now. That's right, folks. It's time for the Cryptid Corner. And this is where we dive into all kinds of different cryptozoological reports. Hydro Z says, I've seen a 10-foot squatch. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Surprisingly, according to, I think it's Bergman's Law is the one, and I might be misattributing that law. I think it's Bergman's Law, though, that says the further a species is from the equator, the larger it gets. But, and I used to think that, well, that must mean like skunk apes and stuff would be more like 6-7 feet tall. And then, of course, the Alaskan squatches are, perhaps 10 plus feet tall, and that would follow Bergman's Law. But I've talked to people in Florida that have seen skunk apes or Sasquatch. If there is a difference, there might be. But in any case, they can be 8, 9, 10 feet, allegedly. So I don't know if it applies the same way. Or again, if that's just, reporting something from an adrenalized state, like it was huge. Well, sure, because they're huge things. But anyway.
Well, didn't you say even for humans, like people in Idaho are typically tall?
I've experienced that for sure. Like there's people here that, it's 6 to 6.5 feet is like the average up here. I mean, there's some giant people walking around, and these are mountain people, and it's like, wow, maybe there is something to the fact that they grew up in the mountains, and so they grew up, or just that there was a lot of tall people moved to Idaho back in the day, and these are their offspring. But whatever the case is, man, I'm telling you, I was pretty good height back in Minnesota, but when I got up here, I'm like, yeah, I'm tiny. I'm a little guy. So there we have it. All right, so we're going to get to the cryptids, folks, and dig into this. We're going to start with one of our favies here on the show, and this is Sasquatch Chronicles, obviously. And there's a couple stories from here that I thought we should read. This was one of them, but I was going to do this one first. All right, this is from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, ladies and gentlemen. And again, this is Wes Germer's site. And Wes does a hell of a job over here, so please support what he's doing. If you haven't checked out his website, you're missing like a half of what he has to offer and what he does. This is a big part of everything that he does, and it's also where you can become a member and get an extra episode every week if you can. So that's always a possibility, but please support Wes's site, and special thanks to Wes for letting us use his site. Here we go. This is number 1 from May 1st, which is my birthday. All right. Odd experiences in Yosemite National Park. A listener writes, I've had a few odd experiences in the Stanislaus and the areas around Yosemite National Park. I'm going to try to reposition because I've noticed when I try to do the film shorts, I end up cutting my head off. I end up leaning on a frame all the time. It's like, oh, that looks good. Looks pretty bad. I'm just kidding. All right. My wife and I experienced weird lights and orbs and some screams in Bear Valley, California, in the Stanislaus National Forest while staying at the Bear Valley Lodge. We were watching a thunderstorm over the mountains behind Lake Alpine when we noticed how silent it was around the lake. Like dead silent. The lightning storm went on quite a while, and while we were sitting in the heavy silence, watching and waiting for thunder that never really came, we started to notice random lights that looked almost like flashlights moving very quickly back and forth along the ridge and in the tree line below. Well, at first, I thought it was just some people out for a night hike or some kids trying to get a better look at the storm, but then we noticed that the lights, they moved in spurts and then just shut off randomly, then reappearing somewhere a little further away. And I'm not sure it's related, but I've heard enough stories from the podcast about orbs. And we sat out at the lake till about 11 or 11:30, watching the storm and these strange lights, which eventually seemed to disappear on top of the ridge, where I know from hiking that ridge the next day, there are no actual trails or anywhere to go other than a drop-off on the other side of the mountain. The lights we saw would have had to have been hovering over the tree line for us to see them from where we were. The second night we returned to the lake, we had known that a concert was happening in the valley that night, but it ended around 9 with a small bonfire happening after till 10 or 10:30. The concert ended at a hard 10:30, but once the valley drifted back to the nighttime silence, we started to hear some strange vocalizations off in the distance, like a howling moan, almost like something was trying to imitate the music that was playing earlier from the concert. It was as if the notes were drawn out slightly too long for a human. My wife pointed it out, and as we were about to pack up and leave, she stopped me while I was zipping up my backpack, motioning for me to listen. And we heard this almost melodic moaning from the end of the valley where the woods get thicker. We returned to the hotel to get something to eat and then go for a late night walk in the small town around the hotel. We found a vacant parking lot that had a large flatbed trailer loaded with 2x4s. I've read about the wood knocks and calls, and I grabbed a 2x4 and smacked the closest tree. And let me tell you, the knock that came out was ear-shattering, loud in the silence. The bugs and critters had not started back up, so it echoed long and loud. My wife immediately grabbed it from my hands and put it back, whispered kind of scared and kind of laughing, "Do not do that again. Let's go." It was around 1 to 1:15 a.m. at this point, and we made our way down to where the road loops around to the disc golf parking lot. Well, as we approached the lot, I heard something off in the distance that sounded like a scream and grabbed my wife's arm, and we both stopped and listened. We heard what sounded like a booming shout, followed by a long, drawn-out, piercing scream. It sounded like someone was murdering a witch with an incredible lung capacity. We walked towards some picnic tables on the edge of the lot to see if we could hear any better. Well, as we got a little closer, we heard a very loud and distant whoop, followed by a long, heavy, like bellow/roar, which was quickly responded to by another whoop and the same long, drawn-out scream that we had heard a few minutes before. My wife and I were discussing it the next morning, and she said that it had sounded like a long whoop and then a long yell and then another higher-pitched yell followed by that scream. The scream was so long and disturbing, my wife had asked if we should wake the rangers, worried that someone might be in trouble or getting murdered. But at that point, I was positive about what we heard, especially with her confirmation. Being thoroughly creeped out, we quickly walked back to the room and went to bed. The next day, I was listening to some Sasquatch vocals to see if I could match up the sounds, and it sounded a lot like the Sonoma sounds, but a more piercing scream. We went out by the lake one last time the next night, and it was so silent that we were too uncomfortable to stay for long. On the ride back from the lake that night, we noticed 2 deer acting strangely on the side of the road. It was like they were afraid to go into the woods, and it looked like they were going to cross the road, so I slowed to a stop. They began to cross and then stopped, turned around to the woods, and then stopped almost crossing again. Like they were afraid to go back the way they had come, but also like they were afraid of going into the woods across the road. They hovered near our car for a few moments before slowly creeping off just inside the tree line. Heads up and very alert before we took off. Sounds like a lot of activity around there.
Yeah. That's it's always interesting to me how, these stories always start out similar and how they always say the forest was quiet. There wasn't a sound.
Yeah.
It's almost like everything in the area, everything like insects, birds, everything knows.
It's creepy too. I'm here to tell you, it is one of the most creepy experiences of my life was when I went up to the cabin up near here, because the person that was staying there, it was a friend of mine's wife and their newborn baby, and she was all alone. He was all traveling for business. And she called me and said, "Can you come up here because something's wrong? The dog will not quit barking." And it was all the way up. It's actually the same location where I saw the flying saucer, believe it or not. But they were since living there. But I went up there, and I finally got the dog quieted down. He knew me a little bit, and so he settled down and quit barking finally. But when I got up there, he was barking incessantly. And then I got up there, and he settled down and just stuck by me. And I just kind of sat outside and listened, and it was like there's a saying that I've heard, and I think it was Kerry Arnold said it from Bigfoot Odyssey, but he said it's like when the forest is holding its breath. And I was like, yeah, that's what it's like. That's what that was like. It was just this dead silence, like not even a cricket. And that's the part that blows my mind. Like, what the hell do bugs know? I mean, they know like eat, poop, and that's about it. And yet they know to shut up. They know to clam up completely. Not even a cricket was chirping. And I stayed out there and just walked around the house. I grabbed the biggest stick I could find. I didn't have anything else. So I'm up in the mountains with a big stick and a dog that's, just really beside itself. And all I did was just stay outside the house and wait. And then it started slowly. Like suddenly a cricket started chirping a little bit off in the distance, and I could hear it. And it's like this wave returned sound to the forest. And it slowly just became normal again. Suddenly there's crickets and tree frogs and all these different sounds, and it was like, wow. But that silence is absolutely unnerving. It's just like, no, I'm not saying it was Bigfoot. I don't know what the hell it was. Could have been a mountain lion or could have been a grizzly. I don't know what was up there. And thank God I didn't find out because I was completely unprepared for anything being, creature or otherwise, to deal with it. But I just, it was like the only one that could go up and help. Everyone else was gone. It was just me and, to go up there and help her feel safe and comfortable with her newborn baby. But it was, silence is deafening, John Dembren says. Yeah, It really was. So
did you, what I'm wondering is, because I'm just saying Sasquatch stories always start out like that. Like, it's just dead quiet. And like you said, the forest is holding its breath. So I did you feel anything, like any distortion, confusion? Like, basically I'm asking is, do you think it may have been, that's a symptom of infrasound? Like, why everything gets so quiet?
Could be. I mean, it may have already happened before I got there. I don't know. I didn't feel like anything zapped me. I didn't feel like that. I just felt extraordinarily uncomfortable with that silence. It's like you can hear your heart beating. It's like that kind of silence. It's like there's no noise. The only sound was from the trickling of the creek below. So it wasn't like absolutely no noise, but it was like that you could usually not really hear because of all the other racket going on. It would be a little light rumble in the distance, but it was like I could hear it really well. But it was also like I could hear my own heart. It was just like probably faster than that, because I was definitely agitated. Like, I don't like this silence. This doesn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was being watched directly, but I just felt like something was there, but I don't know what. And I'm not trying to pretend that it was paranormal or supernatural in any measure. I'm just saying, not even trying to pretend it's a cryptid. It's just something was there that made everything shut up and just hold their breath. And since there was this German Shepherd there, certainly a mountain lion makes sense, or a bear. Like, if they're looking for domesticated animals are like one of the lowest hanging fruits for these animals, because they will hang around houses. It's not hard to find them, especially if it's out there rough.
Yeah.
It's like ringing the dinner bell for like a mountain lion, perhaps. So, I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what it was either, but it was something. Something made those forests just go dead quiet.
Jeez.
So, pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I've told the hell out of that story on the show, and I don't mean to bore you guys with repetition, but unless you've been there and heard that, it's hard to explain how unnerving it is when like places like that go dead silent. It's crazy.
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, I know, like, that kind of silence, but not in a forest. That's the thing,
Right.
Like,
Sure.
on the beaches,
Yeah.
it gets quiet at night where, like, you can just hear the ears ringing. But I suppose it would be different if you're in a forest and you hear nothing. That same silence.
Right. Yeah, and it was a summertime forest too. It wasn't like it was, early spring or late fall when things are kind of, even the bugs are like frozen, like screw this, So it was when it should have had a lot of noise, and there was just nothing. So it was very creepy. But like his silence, you can't hear a pin drop. Well, you probably could hear a pin drop, actually. It's one of those kind of silences. But yeah, I know what you mean there, John. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's crazy. You can feel a pressure. Makes you want to pop your ears like you're going uphill. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's is that related to what we're saying? Because it kind of feels right. Like the silence makes you feel like your ears are plugged. That's a good way of putting it, actually. I kind of like that. Yeah. All the frogs stop. Yeah, absolutely, Mike. The frogs, the crickets are the weirdest part, because these are just little bugs, right? What do crickets know? They have an awareness of about 2 feet around them, maybe. And yet they know to shut the hell up too. It's just really creepy. It's very creepy. So very weird. I think we're going to go over to Lon Strickler's site now for Phantoms and Monsters and hit some of this stuff, because my God, why not?
Why not?
Why not? This is one that came up, and this is one of the things I really like about Lon's work. He's posting about several different topics on phantomsandmonsters.com, and I'm certainly Wes has a broad array of topics that he will post on his blog about. It's great as well. But Lon does a lot of encounter stories where people have allegedly reached out to him, or he's become aware of these encounters in any case. but it can be about some of the most obscure stuff. And I love that because these reports come in and you know, it's up to you whether you buy into it or not. I can't tell you for a fact all the stories are true, but I know Lon does vet a lot of them, and he's, you know, he does a good job as much as anybody could do. Lon is doing a fantastic work.
Oh, yeah.
So definitely support phantomsandmonsters.com.
One last thing, because I didn't think of this. Maggie said, what about the feeling of dread some people report when it goes along with the silence?
Well, you know, I think the dread kind of comes because it's silent. Honestly, that's what I was feeling. I felt like a dread. I didn't feel like some people talk about that, just feeling like something evil is out there. Just this
Farmer.
anger or hate. It said farmer.
Farmer.
Yeah. Well, I don't think farmers are full of hate, Ghost Box, but anyway. But yeah, I mean, there's those stories too, and that does definitely seem to go hand in hand with cryptid reports. Like they feel the rage of something looking at them, you know. And I didn't experience that, but I did feel incredibly uncomfortable with that silence. And I don't know, maybe it was after the dog, and then when I showed up, it wasn't really like. Maybe the difference is because a lot of times when people talk about feeling that dread, they're out camping. They took themselves into what could be the territory of these creatures, you know, but I was at a place that was the territory of a home where they came into. So maybe it's less aggressive that way. It's like, oh, there's a person there. Well, screw it. We can't go grab the dog now. If it is a cryptid, I'm just saying if it is. But maybe the difference is, you know, we go camping out in a nice place in the forest, and it's maybe the same location as, you know, where a tribe of Bigfoot rear their young. And so suddenly people are displacing them and causing them all kinds of problems. So maybe that's where the anger and the rage and the hate comes from. It's like, oh. So yeah. I don't know. Just some ideas, but yeah, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to this, though. This is pale golem-like crawler humanoid encountered by family in Mexico City. This is interesting because...
Oh, my God.
Mexico City, I mean, they do have a lot of weird reports coming out of Mexico and Central and South America with a lot of strange creatures, certainly. There's several instances of possibly gnomes or these diminutive little people that are encountered in Central and South America as well as Mexico. And certainly here in the Americas too, but we don't hear about it often. But there's a few videos, old videos that are on YouTube, probably still. I saw them years and years ago of these little gnome things. And my God, I don't know how they faked it if they faked it. They're done with potato cameras, so you can't see a lot of detail, but these are not people that have like Adobe Premiere and After Effects and Photoshop, and they're doing digital video editing. These are people that are recording on a flip phone, catching something in 640p, which is really low quality.
Oh my God, yeah.
But there's some amazing videos that have come out of Mexico and Central America showing these little micro people. Like I'm talking like 8, 9, 10 inches tall. So.
Jeez.
Yeah. All right. It never looked like a person who was bald. Oh, no. It looked like a person who was bald, pale, crawling on the ground at 180 degrees. I had never seen anything like that before, and I haven't seen anything like it since. I received the following account. Hi. I also used to think that crawler humanoids were just creepy pasta or beliefs held by ignorant people, and that was until January 2022 during the pandemic. I saw one in Mexico City around 8:30 p.m. in a highly urbanized area in the middle of the city, but close to an ecological preserve. Fortunately, I wasn't alone when I saw the thing, because otherwise I might have thought it was a hallucination. I am a biologist, and I was with my wife, who is a nutritionist, my brother, who is also a biologist with a PhD, and my mother, and it was our usual nighttime walk along our usual route. I had never seen anything like that before, and unfortunately, I haven't seen anything like it since. It says, unfortunately, that's interesting. It was my wife who first saw it about 30 meters away, illuminated only by the moonlight. She pointed it out, and initially we thought it was a dog, but upon closer inspection, it looked like a person who was bald, pale, crawling on the ground at 180 degrees. A human would naturally lift their pelvis to move that way, but this thing did not. It looked like Gollum or the creatures from the movie The Descent. I thought it was a homeless person, though it's rare to see such individuals here. Or there, it says. I didn't feel fear, but rather curiosity. I wanted to get closer to see what it was, but my companion stopped me. We hurried and walked silently to reach a more populated area, and within 5 minutes, we were on Avienda Insurgentes, I guess, Sur, and relaxed a bit. And we asked each other what that thing was that we had seen, but we couldn't find an explanation. Evidently, people in the scientific community don't believe us or share our hypotheses of a bald albino homeless person with severe mental issues, but that thing definitely wasn't a human. It's a volcanic area with caves, and the vegetation is xerophytic scrub. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. Nearby are the Institutes of Biology, Ecology, and Biomedical Research. The Olympic Stadium of Ciudad Universitaria is also close by. The entire area is monitored by surveillance cameras, so that humanoid beings must have been captured on video by UNAM's security, but for some reason, nothing has been officially reported. For decades, the area lacked lighting and was ideal for stargazing without light pollution. Coincidentally, after our sighting, the area was fully illuminated. The vegetation was trimmed. The security was increased with guards urging visitors to leave due to reports of feral dogs. To finish, an interesting fact, after seeing the pale humanoid, we didn't talk about the incident again, as if we had forgotten it. It wasn't until 6 months later when my brother showed us a video about the iceberg of Unam, which was deleted from YouTube and TikTok, that several people reported seeing the same pale humanoid in the same area. What was surprising was that all of us who were involved had forgotten about it. Oh, like there's a memory screw of some kind, yeah? From that moment, I began investigating. Various cultures in the Americas have legends and folklore about creatures resembling the pale humanoid. Here in Mexico, they are called nahuales or chaniques. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Depending on the region of the country. I've returned to that same place after dark and always in winter. It's said that these beings prefer the cold and are nocturnal, but have not seen it again. I hope to encounter that thing again, and this time, he says, I will approach it to find out what it is. Oh, don't do that. As it has haunted my thoughts ever since. That thing shouldn't exist.
Oh, human curiosity.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. It's like, yeah, don't go looking for it.
You don't want the legends to be true.
Well, I mean, I'm sure whatever these things are, they're exceptionally strong, probably much stronger than us. But I don't know if they're like, chimpanzee kind of strength or not. But if it's anywhere close to that, they, could literally shred you. But
they could rip you in half.
Maybe they eat us. That's the thing. Maybe we're on the food chain for them. I don't know. They're just creepy things, whatever they are. And there's some part of me that's just like very, very, I don't know, it's almost primal. My feeling is just like, no. Whatever they are, I know that I wouldn't go, hey, let's go get a closer look, Shaggy. Like, yeah, Scoob. Yeah, no. I would not do that, but to each their own. I mean, if this person's brave enough to do that, I guess God bless them, but I wouldn't do that. I'd be okay with the fact that you saw it at all. Because I think that in and of itself is, one in perhaps 10 million will ever see one. 1 in 10 million, probably.
I mean, even Bigfoot, with all the stories of them being passive and helpful and all that, I would not feel comfortable approaching even Bigfoot.
No, because they never look happy to see you. I mean, I don't know if they, I mean, I've heard stories that they can smile and laugh and stuff. I guess they kind of, some people report they laugh like Scooby-Doo, like, that. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's a version that I've heard. Like, they laugh like Scooby-Doo. Anyway, but you don't know if they have the same emotional range of us or if they're just would rather just see us, as a dirt splat. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
But there you have it. I don't know. I don't know what to think of that, but it's creepy stuff. I think if you see something like that, and good for you, first of all, you lived. That's the good part. And you have a story to tell, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess, opened this guy's mind to possibilities. Or this lady's mind. I don't know, guy or woman. I don't know. But do you go looking for it then after that? And what if you find it? And what if it goes all kinds of wrong?
It's like the saying, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because you might just get it.
Yeah. Yeah. You might get your wish, and it might be hungry. I don't know. That's the creepy part. You don't know. We don't know anything about them, including what do they eat? What if it's us?
Yeah.
So it could be. I mean, I hate to jump to conclusions like that, but you got to consider that possibility. If they are some spin-off of ghouls, which, were rumored to feast on corpses of the dead, well, maybe the living are just fine too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the low-hanging fruit is the dead.
Right. Well, the living aren't embalmed, so maybe we're still edible. I don't know. I just felt a draft of cold air. That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
Sucking the energy in the area.
No, I'm sweating. I always sweat when I do the shows, even though it's not really warm in here today. It's only like 70, but I'm always sweaty, even in the winter time.
Only 70, he says.
Well, what's
That's
temperature
hot for
there?
me.
What's temperature there?
80 something.
Is it really?
Not in the house, but
No,
outside.
but outside, really?
Yeah.
It's already gotten that warm?
It was earlier. Now it's in like the 70s and 60s.
Oh, okay. Draft of cold air could be a visitation. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Jed. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It happens, quite a bit. This house is never completely quiet, but it's pretty low key for the most part.
Yeah.
There's times we get spikes, but then again, I'm sitting here talking about the paranormal all the time, and I'm researching it, and I'm doing interviews about it.
Invoking them, yes. You're a beacon.
Well, that's kind of an idea. Is that it's actually an occultist idea. Is magnetizing yourself.
That's
so
right.
by virtue of concentrating on something and spending energy towards it, discussing it, that there's a belief that you summon things to you. And it's certainly possible. That's why I wear all these colorful beads and things on both hands and necklaces and stuff. And it's why I say my prayers and try to be a good boy. Because
outside of your cleansed house, there could be
yeah.
Army of
there's like
just waiting.
There's an amphitheater out there.
They're waiting for the cleansing to be done.
Yeah, exactly. They're waiting for it to fade. It's almost time, boys. Meat's back on the menu. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Hey, buddy. You coming in, Mr. Minion?
Mr. Minion.
What's going on?
Nothing.
I'm doing a show. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You can come in. I'm just curious. Just curious.
It's like, yeah.
Gotta come in like, yeah, well, here. Let's do this. Bring you up on oh, you're not even on camera. There you are. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. My littlest boy. So let's do this.
Mr. Minion.
Mr. Minion. Yep. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you come to help close the show? Is that what you're here for?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Good for you.
One of your times I missed it.
Yeah, you've missed
So
it a
I
bunch of
came
times.
early today.
You came early. Well, good. Good. yeah, I guess we're just about there, aren't we? It is about the show. Sheldon, what do you got to say in closing, buddy?
Well, so guys, don't forget,
Kneel down.
as Dad mentioned earlier, paranormalportal.net, best place to stay up to date on when new shows and when we're live. And as well as Dad mentioned earlier, don't forget, you can sign up to get your own story shared on his podcast. Interview me button right on the webpage. As well, once I get the link here, discord.gg/paranormalportal, I'll put right in the chat. That is the home base for the community where all of the discussions are had, as well as questions of the week, with Chucky Danger leading the way every single week with new questions. And guys, feel free to share your thoughts.
Absolutely. And remember, guys, tomorrow night, Dave Scott of Spaced Out Radio is going to be here on the portal, and we're going to drag him into the depths of the portal. So I guess that just leaves you. You ready? Mm-hmm. Do you got it rehearsed? Are you ready?
No.
All right. We'll go through it together. Come on, lean in. Get in here. Make it happen. Love you all.
Love you all.
Be good, be kind, be nice.
Be good, be kind, be nice.
Take care of each other.
Take care of each other.
Help each other out.
Help each other out.
Find the magic every day.
Find the magic every day.
And remember to laugh as much as you can.
And remember to laugh as much as you can.
That's it, folks. I'm training the next generation with Mr. Sheldon and Mr. Elijah. They'll be doing the show someday. So that's all we got today, guys. So love you. And I'll be back tomorrow night with Mr. Dave Scott. And we're going to drag him through the portal. So don't miss it. Until then, you guys take care of yourselves. See ya.
Good night.